bring in Texas Congressman Michael McCaul. He's chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and also serves on the Homeland Security Committee. Mr. Chairman, welcome.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me.
So part of your district is Houston. This hits close to home.
Very. The Houston DA's office, Harris County, is one of the finest. I believe this could be a capital murder charge. They're very good at this. But the point here is we're seeing this too often now. And I think you're going to see this story repeat itself over and over and over again. A little 12-year-old girl who was raped and then thrown off a bridge and was killed. Just horrific. And, when you have 7.2 million that were caught and released, and then you have about 2 million gotaways, this is what you're going to get. When Secretary Mayorkas changed the rules to his Border Patrol agents and said, hey, you don't have to detain aggravated felons as required under federal law, that's when all this started. And you're seeing aggravated felons coming into the United States and being released into society.
Over the last few weeks, President Biden's implemented a series of measures via executive action to try and tamp down on some of these issues, like making it harder for folks from certain countries to claim asylum. Is any of it having an impact that you're seeing?
No, obviously not. I think there's so many in the country now, and these are little Band-Aid measures. We have a criminal enterprise operating in the United States right now: direct trafficking, sex trafficking, murder, rapes. And unfortunately, you're going to see more of this until he gets back to the policies that were working, that Lindsey Graham talked about on Fox News Sunday. I've been talking about it a lot. Remain in Mexico. I passed out of my committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee. If we just did that one thing, that they have to remain in Mexico pending the adjudication of their political asylum, it would change everything. But they refuse to do it.
Biden campaign co-chair Mitch Landrieu is blaming Republicans for the border crisis. Let's play him.
The border is in trouble, and it has been for the past 20 or 30 years in this country. Joe Biden, on day one, sent a comprehensive immigration reform proposal to Congress. They did nothing with it. Then, as you may recall now, 4 months ago, after the Congress doing nothing, the president met with the most conservative Republicans in the country. They asked for everything in the border bill. The president gave them to him, and because Donald Trump called and told them not to do it, that border bill is still waiting.
Mr. Chairman, how do you respond?
Well, I chaired the Homeland Security Committee for 6 years, and I was a federal prosecutor that did this. Look, immigration reform is not border security, and that's what they're trying to conflate, and it's not the same thing. You need to secure the border, then talk about immigration reform. It's not the same issue. To say that the border, that's a Republican's fault when on day one he talks about this president rescinded all the policies that were working. And I know you're going to have, former chair of the ICE on here, Tom, is a good friend of mine. Look, remain in Mexico, all the things that were working, he rescinded on day one. That has had a direct cause and effect on what's happening down there. And don't take my word for it. The Border Patrol themselves tell me that all the time.
Former President Trump is proposing, he hasn't laid out the details yet, but he's proposing mass-scale deportations as a solution to the current iteration of the crisis. If there are something like 20 million people in the United States illegally, is this proposal, I don't know, can you get behind that? Is it practically feasible in any way, or is it just a sort of aspirational pie-in-the-sky idea for him?
Well, my recommendation, someone who's done this for a long time, is to prioritize your deportations, and I would start with the aggravated felons. Unfortunately, the policy of this administration, Secretary Mayorkas, to his Border Patrol agents was, hey, even though the law requires you to detain aggravated felons, I'm going to tell you, you can release them if you want to, essentially. So these are the people that have come in illegally that I think we have to prioritize to get them out of the country that are causing the crimes you're hearing about.
Yeah, makes sense.
Chairman McCaul, thanks for coming in. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me.